All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in this awesome Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, and take lots of notes. And let's definitely make sure that we participate and engage. So, right out the gate, if you can hear me loud and clear and you are all set and ready to go this morning, drop me a 1 in the chat. All right, I see that. We're good. All right, I got a new monitor set up, so I'm glad that I've got my sound corrected now. So let's make sure that we start each and every day, right? Getting focused, taking massive action, making sure that we're accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. Let's make sure that we center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, assuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Let's also imagine our trades successfully materializing each and every day. And let's obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed and fear. And we want to make sure that we are never, ever looking back once our trades have commenced. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead, right, and jump on over to the fundamentals to see exactly what we've got going on today. So last night we had Governor Bullock speak, and from the Reserve Bank of Australia, and it was kind of, I would say she was hawkish, saying that they wouldn't hesitate. I was trying to look for the article I was reading, but it wasn't from this link. That they won't hesitate, to hike rates if they have to. Do they have something on here? Oh, here we go. So, Michelle Bullock said the central bank will not hesitate to raise interest rates again to combat inflation. She warned that Australia's economic outlook remains highly uncertain and that the board should stay vigilant about upside risk to inflation. Those comments came days after the RBA held the cash rate steady at 4.35% for the sixth straight meeting, right? And think about it. We're in environments where central banks are cutting, right? They held as widely expected. However, the central bank warned that inflation remains too high and that no rate cut is on the table in the near term. The RBA pointed to a stronger outlook for domestic demand, led by higher public spending and a recovery in household consumption. Externally, the Aussie was supported further by expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut rates more aggressively in the coming months due to signs of weakness in the U.S. economy. All right. So let's keep that in mind. Okay. They also think about things are kind of back and forth right now, right? And everybody's trying to figure out exactly where these markets are heading next, right? So I've just been, kind of just focusing on like the here and now, the short term side of things and which way that direction is going for now, because it could change quick after a huge sell-off that occurred, right? And the carry trade unwinding and not so good quarterly reporting for some companies, just been a bit of a firestorm of things, right, that have caused a huge correction in the markets, right? So we've gone from, the VIXY being extremely high to it's coming back down. It's come back down. But I don't think we're quite out of the woods yet, but we'll see. And I say that because just remember the Aussie dollar is a commodity currency, right? And it is impacted definitely by those risk on, risk off situations. So just stay vigilant in that regard. But as far as the Reserve Bank of Australia is concerned, it's pretty standing pretty hawkish, right? So they held rates, didn't cut. They're saying that they won't hesitate to raise them if they had to combat inflation, right? So that was that. Moving into today, right? We've got unemployment claims for the U.S., right? Expected to be 241,000. So we will see coming off the hills of a not so impressive non-farm payroll report last week that missed forecast. Other than that, right, pretty light day in the market. And then Friday, I mean, look at that, just Canadian data coming out. So pretty light across the board, right? In this first week of August. But it's all good. It's all good. So moving over, take a look at some of the headlines on trading economics. We see European stocks lower. Major bourses in Europe were in the red on Thursday, with the StockX falling, 50 falling 0.7%, tracking losses in other regions as the market failed to sustain a comeback from the recent sell-off. Investors digested earnings reports from major European companies, right? Kind of like what happened to us last week here in the United States. And Japanese shares track Wall Street lower than the Nikkei, so it made a decent recovery, but a little bit lower, 0.74% to close at 34,831. So we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the day with that and with the market. So pretty light, right? So on the fundamental front, we'll take a look at the DXY. So the dollar rose to around 103.2 on Wednesday, extending gains from the previous session as traders dialed back bets on an emergency cut from the Fed, right? Earlier this week, the index tumbled to near 7-month low as a weak jobs report from Friday stoked fears of a U.S. recession, giving rise to speculation that the Fed may take emergency steps to lower the borrowing costs. However, analysts suggest that the recent global sell-off may be an overreaction, with Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon telling Bloomberg he does not expect the Fed to act before September. Meanwhile, markets are still betting on a larger 50 basis point Fed rate cut in September and over 100 basis points of total easing for the year. So the dollar strengthened against the yen and euro, but lost ground versus the Kiwi and the Aussie. So we'll see how that is playing out technically on the charts. All right, so we'll take a look at the DXY. We'll look at where we have found a bit of support for now, right? Our daily stochastic is in the buy zone, and we have put in a low. Really, when you look at it, reconfirming that previous level around that 102.27 area, and you can see we're back above what is that, 102.77 or something like that. So we'll see if we continue to see an uptick in the dollar as the day progresses and we look to close out the week. All right. Any questions or any of the fundamentals, right? Not too much going on, or anything regarding the dollar? No. All right. Right out the gate, I'll ask you guys, is there any particular pair that you want to take a look at before I really get going through these charts, right? Oil and gold. All right. So we can start there. All right, so let's take a look at it. We'll come down, we'll take a look at oil first. Okay, right? So here's that double bottom that we were looking at. We've got this pullback. So right now, right, we've definitely put in that low. Look at that huge bullish candle. And we're looking like we're retesting, right? This 70. Did this happen to anybody else? When they do these updates, man, right? I don't know, but my levels, right, they're not showing up on the end anymore. So 74.46, right? This daily level here, we're retesting that. We got some rejection early, right? So we may see a continuation to the upside. Let's look and see commodities. Let's look at crude. Fell 74.80 on Thursday, right? Which is what we're seeing, following a 2.8% increase in the previous session, with investors concerned about potential retaliatory strikes in Iran against Israel in response to recent assassinations of Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. Despite these tensions, Iran's president hinted at a possible diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation during the call With France, oil prices had recently rebounded after dropping to a 7-month low on Monday, partly due to disruptions in Libya's largest oil field and a rare Ukrainian attack into Russia. Official U.S. data revealed that crude stockpiles fell for the 6th consecutive week to their lowest level since February, which might ease concerns about demand. Okay, so that's good. Stockpiles fell, right? So the demand is there right now. However, there were increases in oil inventories at the key Cushing storage hub and in gasoline supply. So a little mixed based on the region, right? But we've seen an uptick, which is what we see. We saw that 2.8%, and now we've declined a bit. Okay, so we'll see if we can continue to get a move up. So here we are on the 4, right? If we're tracking that off the lows, right? Here's that retest, right? A closer look at that level. So you can see here past resistance that could become future support. We'll see if it holds above that level. Let me run my fibs off the low. Right. So we do have a new one on the 4 running to the upside. So we'll see if we get a bounce here, if we pull back deeper. But right now, right, based on that daily, right, and that nice strong bullish candlestick from the previous day, right, we have to say let's look for, a further move up. You seeing the same thing, Joy? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I had a big question about that 4 in that support zone, whether that's going to be playing off from what you just said, off dang it, off that previous support, if it was
Mm-hmm.
gonna bounce up off that off that key zone, or if it was a possibility for an 80-20 and for it to come back down, because I was also looking at the cloud
Yeah,
because it's
I
coming
got
off
you.
that, yeah, off that daily. It's even though it's flat on the daily, um it's really bouncing off that key zone, and it's bouncing off the cloud. And then you got the highest level at 2483.57. I have that marked as an extreme high right there. So I was looking for
Okay.
price to go up, probably break that, and then come back down to 2184.00 eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll see.
No, I'm on. Dang it, I am on gold. I am so sorry. The once I said the
Mm-hmm.
2104, I'm sorry. Why you ain't stop me, Benny? Because they both looking
Mm-hmm.
the same. To be honest, on gold and
Mm-hmm.
oil is kind of looking the same.
No,
Um,
I was just looking at the not so much the numbers, but the high you were talking about, right?
yeah.
Looking visually at the chart. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So for oil, this is what I got for oil. I'm sorry, I was looking at gold. So my prime fib is running down.
Mm-hmm.
Price is like at the 618. But the thing is, on the the smart fib went ahead and flipped the fib. So because of that W that is forming, so I was wondering, is this the point of a reversal, because it's playing on the 4 hour on the 50. So I was waiting for price to I'm looking at my notes now. I'm waiting for price to break above that 50 and see if it's gonna hold there. And then the 200 is next. The 200 is just above 78.86. And if I can get price to stay above that, I can believe it can stay bullish.
Right. That previous major high, right? So I was
Yeah.
focused on the technical level, not so much your number, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah. I was just the number, the
mm-hmm.
supply and demand zone. I'm just playing off supply and demand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you could, right? And you can see how we're retesting that level, right? You see how here where we had that previous level, right? That was tested before, right? I know you're on your game. So right,
And I
so
know my
retesting this
support
level
resistance,
now.
but it's like left and right hand. I get confused when I start talking about
It's all right. I figured you listed oil and gold, right? So
it.
yeah, but you can see how they're both, right? got key levels that you're targeting to the upside. So we'll see. This one will be interesting to see if we get a bounce here off this 382 and off this daily level to move higher on that. So
Support past resistance. That's what you said. I knew I was gonna get it. Yep.
mhm, mhm. No, you're good. You're all right. You're all right. So at least you got your notes, in front of you, right? And you're focused on where you want to go. So you got to have a plan, right? When you're trading, and it's clear that you definitely have that. So no worries. No worries. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that bounce. But right now, right, you were correct off that double bottom. So we'll see what happens. Any other questions on oil? Good work, Joy. Really good work. No. All right. So now we can move over to your to your goal play. So the question is, right, are we right? We've got our stochastic trying to move down, and we're moving a bit sideways here. Right? I still like gold bullish. Right? To the upside. It's looking positive today, right? So here was that previous low before. It's getting whipsawed a bit all over the place. Right? So we've got some positive movement, but you can see it's struggling a bit, right? Not making that explosive move, but we're still well within our C to D push. Okay. So you can see it looks like we're rebounding here. And that may be a good play if it can sustain itself throughout today. Let's see what happens if we get any type of price action that occurs from the unemployment claims. Okay. All right. So
And I wanted to point out, if we look at the weekly, we are
mhm.
sitting in the 80-20 for the week. So I'm looking for price to go up to 2550.
2550.
Yeah.
Where you got your fibs running from? Way
I
where's
ran them I ran them all the way. I just ran that last leg at the I ran from 104623 is where I ran them from. I just traced over the smart fibs.
I got you. You got the same fib?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well, actually, no, I don't. But it's in the same area. I got like about, oh no, it is. It is. There you go. With the one with the itty bitty one.
Same thing, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So overall bullish, but you can see we kind of just been, and this is how gold does, right? So it's just kind of accumulating, and then we'll get a push in either direction. But you can see how it's just for the last, multiple weeks, right? So you can see how we're taking back those gains from the previous week. But overall, right, it just the longer term play for me is still bullish on gold, just because fundamentally the situation in an interest rate cutting environment, right? So it's gonna have its moments, but I'm still looking for a bullish swing on gold. All right. All right. No other requests. That was it. That was it. All right. So let's move on. Let's take a look at some of these indices. All right, so let me ask everybody this. How give me some feedback, right? How's everybody's trading going? Or you kind of just pausing watching the markets right now after the huge move, or what's going on?
So I'm thankful for Darwin X. Because
Yeah, that's a great system, man.
I'm thankful because because I mark up my charts, I've got my rules, and I'm, of course I'm in the learning process. I know I'm going to be in the learning process for a long time, but I get to practice the things that y'all
Hmm.
talk about, that you and Ryan talk about, and that we talk about in the accountability group, which is amazing. And
Hmm.
so um I get to make trades and win a few and lose a lot. But in each of my trades, as when I share them, particularly with the accountability group, I get amazing feedback that helps um, to tweak my thought process, particularly around psychology.
Hmm.
So even though like I have my rules, the rules are for my entry, my rules are pretty solid. So I have my rules in terms of how I'm going to enter. But then either in exiting or when I see price bouncing around and, whipsawing me, as you would say, um, that's what gets me a little nervous. And Jeremy said something to me yesterday as I was sharing how my trading was going. And it's all learning. So I'm not like discouraged or anything like that.
All right.
But he said, whenever you put in a trade, as long as you have your stop loss, just consider that money gone.
Yep.
Because you have to, as long as you consider it gone, you've got your rules, you've been smart about your trade. Just just wait for it to either go either way. If it takes out the A, it takes out the A, but if it doesn't, it has no choice to go my way. And so it's been great to the accountability group has been great for me. So even though that I've lost a bunch of trades, I'm
Mhm.
still taking the trades, and still continuing to learn, particularly how important the fundamentals are.
Yes. Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome feedback. And it takes time, right? Especially like you have that technical part down. Like you said, you have your rules. It's that psychological, part that takes people the longest. In the beginning, people don't realize that that's where it's at. That's where the breakthrough is going to occur, right? And Jeremy gave you phenomenal, phenomenal advice, right? So that's great job. Just keep working, right? Keep working. Your patience will grow, and you'll have that breakthrough. You have that breakthrough, and that's true, right? If it doesn't take out the A, it has no choice but to go your way. You've already calculated your risk, like you said. Consider that money gone. That's great feedback. Really good feedback, right? Drop some sevens for both of you, right? The back and forth, dropping sevens all across the board for the accountability group.
And if I can,
Excellent.
that this accountability group, I'm telling you, like for
Hmm.
particularly for new trader, is has been the most awesome thing for me. It has
Yeah.
just every day. And what I do is I ask a lot of questions. And so I'll ask a question about a trade that I took that didn't go my way or that I got out too early. And the team, Donette and Tyrone and Jeremy and Benit, they are so incredible and patient in helping me to see. And what they do is they ask me questions about what
Hmm.
I've done to help me
Hmm.
to see stuff. So it's sort of like my vision is pretty narrow and myopic. And
Hmm.
so where my blind spots are, they see where my blind spots are and ask me questions to help me see that blind spot was there. And so I can read all about psychology all I want and say, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. I do that. And then, they ask the questions like, okay, so how did you feel about that? Oh, did you know that this is what you're doing. You are trying to make yourself right. Then that's, Jeremy said to me the other day, he says, you are trying to make yourself right. You are trying to prove yourself right instead of proving the market right, and instead of flowing along with the market. And so it's been phenomenal. This has been a great journey for me. So thank you for all that you guys do here. And I just have to say, just listening to Joy in the morning and listening to how she does her analysis. I don't mean to take up all this time, but this is an amazing.
No, you're good. You're good. That's why I asked the question for sure.
Yeah, this is an amazing group. I don't trade. I don't plan to trade gold and stuff like that right now. But just listening to the analysis and how she says, let me look at my notes and going back and forth. It's just it's expansive to me to listen to it. And even as I'm getting ready for work, it's just an expansive experience for me. So thank you for the space.
Oh, you're
and
welcome.
Let me share. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, when I first joined this circle, I swear to God, Benny probably grew about 10 gray hairs when I joined.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's all good, right? It's just a maturation process, right? And staying consistent, right? And we noticed, just from being a part of the groups and things like that, just the strategy hopping from strategy to strategy, it just, when you're trying to shorten the learning curve, it's hard when you're kind of jumping all over the place and you just don't have, a consistent approach to the market, which is one of the main reasons why we started this group. I think the accountability group was a phenomenal idea. I wish I could jump in there. I'm gonna have to tune in. I'm gonna try to figure out something. But usually around that time, I'm either working on my job or I'm coaching. Right. So leaving from the job and going to coach at the same, around that same time. So, but the feedback about that group has been phenomenal, and that's what it's all about. One big think tank. One big think tank. And so I know you're not trading, okay, like you said, gold and other things like that right now. But as you move further, you will start to trade a lot of different instruments, right? Because you have a consistent approach and a solid, foundation and framework to where you'll soon discover that you could trade anything, right? As long as you can do the math, right, and work your risk out. Which we've gone over now, right? You are free and you have the ability to trade pretty much any instrument, especially when you're working with something as phenomenal as Darwin, with the capital that you have and the freedom that you have with Darwin as compared to other props and things, other prop firms that you may trade for. This is something totally different. So kudos to you, kudos to everybody in the group. Any other feedback, reprogramming? That's right, Joy. Any other feedback before we continue on? Benit said he is trading right now. All right, which is cool. So we'll be through August before you know it. Some of the instruments that I'm looking at, the volume is seems to be pretty low right now, like the euro dollar, but that'll pick up, as we move towards the end of August and into September. So all right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing great. Glad to be here with the group, man. Anything on the news front, fundamental front, that you've got your eye on?
Nothing at the moment.
Okay.
Nope,
Okay.
nothing at the moment.
All right. All right. So let's move on, everybody. So moving on, looking at the S&P, right? Just sideways right now. Let's take a look at it from the daily, since we see that low. And this is pre-market. So we'll see what happens with those unemployment claims. That's the one. Let's go to the daily and take a look at it, right? So we're hovering right in this zone. Beautiful 80-20 move. Is this gonna, right? Is this, we don't have, right? So we have a low here. That should be right like that. We have a low that got put in, but we don't have anything strong and convincing from this daily, right? Look at our stochastic still pushing angle to the downside, right? We're definitely oversold after the big correction. But we want to see something convincing there, right? Nice, strong bullish candle, daily candle to close. But right now, this is just, look at that. That rejection keeps happening. What is this level? The parameter is that 53.28 level. We just keep seeing a rejection right now. So just moving sideways as we saw on the lower time frame chart with the fib, you can see that we are right in the buy zone, right? We got that initial rejection. Okay. So let's continue to wait and see, right? Continue to wait and see, not doing anything with it right now. If you all are anybody still holding this short, I know we had some people in the group that were short the S&P, which was awesome. Nope. All right, so I'm gonna assume everybody's up. .net. There you go. There's your mic. Good morning. So I'm assuming everybody may be out of this play.
Yeah,
To the
I got out because I was in a challenge, so I hit my target.
you hit your target, eh?
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. Drop some sevens, right? Great work. Great work on that play. All right. So that's where we are in the S&P, right? Trying to figure out exactly what it wants to do next, right? What does it want to do next, right? So that is the daily work. Yeah, so we found some support. It's just a wonder if that support is going to hold and we find some buyers to come in and push the market up, okay? Moving down, taking a look at the 4. Right. So we got a bit of recovery and then a pullback there, okay? So we'll see what happens there, right? Kind of on pause right now. Looking at the US 30, that daily chart, similar situation. Okay? Just be patient. Just continue to be patient. Price is starting to settle down a bit, right? And some working within the same chart with the time frames. I'm take some of these fibs off, right? Move down to the 4 because it gets kind of confusing, right? When the fibs start to overlap each other. So we can see here, right? This is turning up right here. We're moving sideways, but you can see how we turn back over. Maybe we find this support level, retest this daily support. Okay, but nothing doing right now unless you've been on the short side. Okay. Unless you've been on the short side. Nothing, if you're looking for a low price to buy, not quite there yet. So just continue to be patient on the US 30. Pretty much across the board, right?
The 30 minute has a 80-20. So
On the which one? US 30?
US 30.
All right, let's go down to the 30-minute. All right.
Well, the opposite fib rather. So
Okay. To the downside?
yes.
Okay. Oops. Let's see here.
I guess that one coming
The
down.
last one right here.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we'll see. We'll see if we get get some buying activity coming in today. Again, light day, but we do have right coming up at 8:30 unemployment claim. So we'll see how that impacts the markets this morning. I think they're expecting 241. Yeah, 241. Okay. Coming down from the previous. So we'll see what happens if that creates some positive movement in the markets as investors are kind of holding steady as we see technically. We can see right a lot of sideways movement, looking for any positive signs to start back buying, right? So looking for that low, And then any positive sign to get back long, right? But things are kind of iffy right now. So we will see, right? But technically, yes, we are definitely on that sub-fib, right? Right around that 80-20 zone. Price needs to break out. So thanks for calling that out, Donette. Appreciate it. All right. So let's look at the go back to this NAS 100, right? Kind of just hovering, right? This was a beautiful move here off this double bottom, right? This is your 1 hour chart. Right? So there was a clean move, but now the market is just pushing sideways. We're indecisive. Okay. So we need the market to get going again. So it's pretty much the same across the board on these indices, right? So if we drop down, see like the 5 minute, take a look at that. How that played out right here, right? Beautiful technical structure there. Nice W pattern off that level. And then we got long, but we've since come back down and we're moving sideways. So markets are kind of neutral. All right. We need some data. Light week. Fundamentally, we need some data. Here's a look at the Nikkei. So wondering, right? Let me take these off and move back up to my daily chart. So here we are on the daily, right? So we've gotten, right, a nice rejection there. Okay. It's a nice low that was put in, and now we're kind of just pushing sideways, right? So that was just a major sell-off, right? A lot of articles written about that, right? With that yen carry trade unwinding, and that was a major correction, right? But we've since recovered. And now we're kind of just, right? We're neutral today, right? Bullish to neutral. And so we'll see if we can. I'm looking for. I would like to see, right, this continue to recover, because I am sitting in this one right now. So I want to see it get back going to the upside, right, and continue long, at least to next level uh resistance. But we'll see, right? Let's see what happens when the market opens, if this can continue to push long, or if we're going to see another move, another push, one more drive to the downside. But off the lows, right? Off the lows, looking pretty good on that move. So if we come off to the 4 here, if we can continue that swing, right? Decent pullback, 50%, right? Your D extension is way up there. So we're kind of just moving sideways now, right? Around that 127 zone, no matter what, right? You get, oftentimes you get some sort of reaction, right? So a nice, strong, bullish move up into that zone, and now we're kind of moving sideways. So we'll see what happens there. Anybody currently in I know we got out of the S&P move. Anybody in any plays now with in regards to the indices?
No, I'm not. I'm in
No.
Bitcoin though.
Oh, you're in a Bitcoin swing? All right. I heard another no in the Bitcoin. Which way? To the upside, or you short?
I am short.
Short. Okay. All right. All right. Good. Good. UK 100. All right. Let's take a look at it. All right. So let's see, kind of similar. Like where are we going? Where are we going next? Right? If we we take a look at the daily, right? We're finding support. Our stochastic is back into that buy zone. Let's see if it holds. Right? Kind of just across the board, we've got that pause going on, right? That pause that's occurring in the markets. Need them to get back going again. Okay. Gold long, yeah, okay. We talked about that a little bit earlier, so that's good. That's my thought on gold as a continuation long. Of course, it's going to bounce back and forth, right? But overall still fundamentally long on gold. Right, when we're in the interest rate cutting environment that we're in. So good job on that. So continuing to hold long. So we'll see. All right. So pretty much across the board, with these indices, right? When we look at the Russell here, right? Kind of that same move. So you can see, right? It's good to go through and review these because, right, you can kind of see the same price action patterns being put in. So if you can catch them, right, when they make their move, whether it's going to be to the upside or to the downside, um, you can see how you can really clean up, right, and do well, right, because you see the similar price action across the board, especially with these U.S. indices right now, kind of hovering in that sweet spot. Market saying, hey, what are we going to do next? Give us some fundamental data so we can get a catalyst, right? So we'll see if these are going to be the lows. This is a 4-hour 80-20, right, across the board. Look at that. Okay. All right. Easy to see, right, when you have a structural framework. Okay. All right. So that's it, right? We're going to leave those indices alone. Let's take a look at these dollar pairs ahead of the data. So we're looking at this UCAD, right? So overall on the 4, this has been a long play, which you can see how we're correcting to the downside now, right? So we made that push up and now we're moving down, right? So you got another high that was put in on the daily. If you're tracking those levels, right? I am still gathering my data on this. I've really been focused on that, and it's actually working out really well, right? On those moves. So here is our long term. Okay, so we've gotten that correction. So our longer term 4-hour swing to the upside. Look at that. That was a huge move, and then we got rejected right in that 127 zone. Okay, so we'll see if price wants to eventually settle and continue to move up. Okay. But for, right, that short-term play, that reversal, right, following those daily swing highs and swing lows, it's working out pretty good, right? Move to the downside. Okay. I eventually want to see that settle down and then continue up for this 4-hour play and eventually to the extension. But right now, right, we're looking at a correction, right? A correction to the downside. We can see here on our 1-hour chart with that move, we took out our A. Okay. So if we flip that, do we have any type of 80-20 going on? No, right? AB boundary. We'll see what happens with that, right? Again, US data at 8:30, right? So correcting right now to the downside on this UCAD. We know we had a decent recovery a day ago on oil, right? Which always helps the Canadian dollar. But overall, right, that CAD, right, has been weak fundamentally. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Any questions on the UCAD?
Yeah, sorry. So I was gonna say that on the 4-hour, if you put the Ichimoku cloud on, you can see that it's broke through and then it's having its Moku twist. And you can see it actually go into a bearish territory. The market's actually come through.
All right. Let's take a look at it. All right. So we're sitting on that 200. Right? So we broke through. So let's see what happens with this US data, right? So it's this could be kind of tricky right now. Right? So what do you think? You think we get eventually close below that 200?
So what I think that could possibly happen, it's reached a point of support. However, it's come through and it's showing bearish,
Yep.
more on the bearish side. So I think after this news, we might get a little push up before it goes back down again.
Okay.
So I'm actually in this trade on a sell.
Yeah. I like it. Man. Especially coming off that daily high. Right? Right. That's the right now move, right? And that's what we're talking about, right? So you're thinking maybe a pull back into the zone, right? Then a further move back down. right? But we definitely have a bearish cloud up ahead, so we'll see how it shifts, right? And then
Mhm.
how the resistance levels from the clouds, start to take form as we move forward. But yes, that right now trade was that correction, right? To the downside, right? What does that look like on the daily? Have you taken a look at that with the daily cloud? Where it's at? Let's see. Right. So still above cloud on the daily. Let me pull this out. Right. But catching that move off the high, right? That's an awesome trade. Right. So a couple different ways, right, to look at the market, right? You got your long-term swing to the upside, right? We're still in bullish territory, but plan that correction, right? To the downside, right? You can make your money too. So great job on that. This fib is a little funny, right? That fib should be probably at that high. I'll take it off. Let's just look at it here. Right? Right. So we had it marked up on a daily, right? From before looking at this high. All right. And now we're moving down. So we'll see if we get a pullback and a continuation. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We're kind of in a tricky spot with a lot of these right now. But great job on that short play. Indeed. Indeed. Right? Yep. Sevens all around. Right? Okay. Sometimes, right, you have to trade what you see and take what you can get. Right? Long term, I like it bullish. Right? But in the short term, right, as we're trading on a day-to-day basis, weekly basis, right? This is the move. This is the current move down, right? But you can see how on the daily, still above cloud. Right? Multiple ways to skin a cat. I like it. Great work. Great work. Any other questions on that UCAD?
Oh,
All right. Plan your trade your plan. Right? Have to have a plan. What you want to do. Okay. All right. So that is the UCAD. Let's take a look at this dollar Swiss. Okay. So we rebounded a bit. Okay. We put in another low, right? Nice bullish candle that's being retested right now. Okay. Stochastic, right? Definitely oversold. Okay. Okay. So we had a tailing off non-farm payroll of the dollar. All right. Since saw some dollar weakness, saw the DXY earlier. It's looking like it's trying to find some support. We know the Swiss franc, right, definitely benefited from the weaker dollar, benefited from the risk-off scenario being that it's a safe haven currency. We saw the VIX start to work its way down after all the drama. We know that the Swiss National Bank is looking to continue to cut rates. They've already gotten out ahead. Right. No emergency cuts coming in from the Fed, which people were starting to speculate about. So definitely nothing in August. They're thinking September. It's a question of whether or not it's going to be 25 or 50 basis points, right? As now 50 basis points has started to come into the conversation, right? Let's see what happens with the unemployment numbers today, right? But we definitely have a low. We've got a bullish candle that's being retested. I'm interested in watching this one closely to see if we can get the dollar to pick back up to the upside. Let's see what happens. Anybody, do you guys have any thoughts on this? All right, we've taken out the A on the one to the downside. Okay, we've got an ABCD wave here, right, to the upside. Moving up. Yes, they were going to find some support and continue. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking wait until it gets down 61.8 and then buy up.
All right. All right. Right. Our 4-hour stochastic is moving down. We know we've got a daily stochastic that's in the buy zone. All right, so let's see what happens. I like that idea. Be patient, right? Pick your spots. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. Beautiful move down. Look how we took out that high. Okay. Didn't get that pullback on that 80-20. It just kept moving down. It missed. Right. So oftentimes we typically will see, right, a major correction. All right. So let's see if we can get a continuation on this wave to the upside, like so. So this will be that, like that. Let's see if we can make something out of that. That's that. You don't trust it? I don't know. Shaky market right now. Shaky market, but it's all right. Let's see what happens. That's the dollar Swissy. That's a that could be a good setup for us. All right. So again, right? Dollar yen. Okay. We see across the board, right? We see this recovery. The question is, right? Makes it kind of sketchy is, you know, can we continue to see, right, price move up, right? See, we're retesting that bullish candle from the previous day. Do we hold, right, and move long? Let's see if we can get some data at 8:30 to maybe support that move. Okay. Support that move. Can we get a complete wave up now? Okay. As everybody has started to wrap their head around this thing. Right? Is it really as bad as it looks? Right? Again, right? Another scenario, right, where the A is taken out, right? From this recovery. Do we continue to move higher from here? That's the question. That is the question. Is the bearish move over? What do we think?
So when I was looking at this, I know previous um doesn't mean for the future, but I had zoomed on this one, and this is a double bottom from December.
What time frame are you looking at?
Um, I was looking at the 1 hour.
The 1 hour?
Now I said 22 December. But like I said, I was accidentally scrolled out that far because Smart Trader was playing some games that day, but I was like, oh,
December.
see
So
something.
you're up around this zone here, right?
Mm-hmm. I get
Right. So at this zone here, right? That price moves down. Is that what you're thinking?
yes, sir.
Mhm. Think one more drive down to try to confirm that double bottom. We'll see. I like it. Great job. Great job spotting that looking left, right? So that's what we're seeing here on this weekly, right? Possible move, right? So the question is, right, we see this rejection this week. In the near term, do we make, you know, another drive up, or is it time for this to turn over now? Right? Do we get a pullback and then one more move to the upside?
And the only reason why I say that's
Before
because
turning over?
consolidation. It was just a lot of red candles, even though they getting smaller. I
Mm-hmm.
just thought it was just gonna drop down a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. We need some I'm big on the data and we don't have a ton. Closing out closing out this week. We're moving into next week. Um we got PPI. That's gonna be huge. Next Tuesday. It's a wage day for Australia. Um we got monetary policy statement. So things look to be, of course, CPI. So things looking like things will pick up next week. We've got some big data reports coming out next week. So yeah, so let's see right now, right? This is where we are in this position. Okay. I like that the idea of that double bottom eventually. Question is, do we drive up one more time and then come down, or are we gonna turn over from here? We need some help with the data on that. Any questions on this, UJ? Nope. All
No.
right. All right. All right. Let's see what happens, right? We got, like I said, we got one red folder sitting here today for unemployment claims, and that's just about it. All right. And then Friday, we've got Canadian data. Um, so we'll see. We will see what happens. Moving a bit slow, but it's all good, right? We have to patiently sit on our hands, right? That is a position as well, all right? And when in doubt, stay out, right? But I've heard a lot today, right? Good feedback from the group about the accountability sessions. Kay, great job, right? Everybody, great work in that group. Appreciate the feedback from you. Um, just be patient, right? But we do have members that are actively trading right now and found some good setups, right? The dollar CAD move to the downside off the daily highs, right? The S&P 500 shorts, trading gold to the upside. Some people have been dealing with that for a while. Some people are holding it. Some people are, in and out. So great work. That's what trading is all about, right? Anybody have any questions in general before we close out today? No?
Thank
All
you for
right.
being you.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Right back at you. Right back at you. Ryan, anything else before we close out, sir?
No, sir. Great session, bro. Team, great work. Continue grinding. I love it.
All right. All right. So let's continue to dig in. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, don't just count your pips, but indeed count your blessings. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you.